Okay, let's start for today's session. Today we're going to talk about commercial lease. Okay, this is the third session for commercial, but today going to focusing on lease purely, and I'm going to cover from type of leases, how to read commercial lease MS, because there is a certain terms are very specific for commercial. It may not that familiar for people who do residential before. And I'm going to have some explanation on those terms. And also, I'm going to go majority for how to calculate commercial lease commission. That's also important and a little bit hard for most new people who haven't done commercial lease before. So, and a little bit process, how to conduct commercial lease business. Okay, I won't cover the clause for today. Again, I'm going to invite a lawyer to cover the commercial lease clause. So today we're going to focusing on the detail of the terms, category, process of lease. Okay, so this page discuss about commercial lease, different style of commercial lease. There's more, but I listed those four. That's covered from two sides. One called gross lease. Okay, it's on, let's say, on the left end, which means gross lease means that the tenant pay the lease rental only, and the rest expenses, utilities, TMI covered by landlord. That's gross lease. Okay. On the other side, we call the triple net lease, which is the tenant pay everything. I mean everything means rental, TMI, utilities, pretty much. Definitely the landlord still need to cover the landlord, like repairing, sometimes not covered, okay? And the landlord own expenses, for example, lawyer expenses, accounting expenses, definitely not covered. Okay, that's the landlord. So in between gross lease and the triple net, there is a net lease and a double net lease. Okay, so the net lease is the tenant pay rental plus portion of PMI. Portion is depends on different situation. For the double net means the tenant pay rental plus T and I, tax and interest. Landlord cover maintenance or management fee. That's double net. But for net and double net is not too much in today's market. In today's market, the majority is the triple net lease. And that most likely for almost all the commercial that you can see, including a normal office, warehouse, industrial, retail. But for high-end office, it normally goes to the gross lease. Okay. And the last part, the number 4, is a percentage lease. Is not too many, but that's majority for retail. Especially, let's say for Yorkdale Mall, 1 Mills Mall, those high-end, they go by the percentage lease. Just simplify, percentage lease means rental, they pay a standard rental if their business income or the volume goes beyond a certain threshold point, then they need to pay more based on their income, rental, based on the tenant's business income. And they have a percentage. For example, they set up, okay, if you are the tenant's income for year annually 1 million, then you go for standard. If over 1 million, the over part, you need to pay 2% as extra lease. That's called a percentage lease.
2% of the revenue or profit?
The revenue, based on the revenue.
Based on the revenue.
Based on the revenue and the extra part. Okay, so that's the percentage lease. Those are very, let's say common. There's definitely in between. That's a range that you can always negotiate. Okay, this may not triple net or may not gross lease is a combination. Okay, for example, tenant pay rental plus, say, TMI plus portion of utilities. That's all based on different situation. Okay, so again, I'm gonna show you. Oh, I think I have a. Okay, this I made a screenshot with. Can you find us? Where are we? We are 13. Okay, 13. That one. Yeah. So as you can see, most price listed as per square footage, and there's also some per like we call the flat fee. Okay. I'll show you later for different styles. That's a comparison for different lease. I just mentioned mostly. Okay, so from gross lease to triple net. Again, I try to find some double lease in today's market, but I couldn't find anyone. Yeah, it's not that common at all. That's you need to know because that's gonna be very important when you calculate the rental or calculate how much your tenant, if you are representing a tenant, how much your client is gonna pay for, right? And also that's also related to commission as well. Okay, so as I mentioned, we need to know how to read a commercial MS listing. So let me log into our MS. Okay. Give me a second. Sorry, I should log into that. Okay, let me, for those who are online, I'm gonna share the screen with my MS page. This one. Okay, here you can see I'm gonna use one of my listing to show you how to read the MS. Because today we're gonna go pretty say basic or entry level. I won't cover too much complicated. Okay, this is one of a commercial listing. A building for lease. Currently, actually, this unit already leased out. We already got deposit, so it's gonna be updated soon. But I'm just use this as a sample to go through the MS listing. For those who didn't do commercial too much before, maybe you have some difficulty to understand certain terms. I'm gonna explain those basic or those important ones. Okay. So first of all, the price. Okay, see this lease price is 25 net lease. So first question, is the 25 for a month or for a year? Yeah. That's annually, that's for a year per square footage. Okay, that means 25 per square footage per year. Okay, and the square footage is here. Let's say for this unit, it's 4,858. You just simply multiply square footage by 25 That's the total rental per year. Okay? If you want to know how much per month, yeah, divided by 12. That's monthly rental before tax. Rental only. Okay? And I'm gonna discuss others later. That's a very basic one. And then, because I mentioned, that's why we discuss gross lease or triple net lease. Because most lease right now is a triple net, which means you are not only cover the rental, but also you have to cover the TMI. What's the TMI stand for? Right, good. Okay, tax, management, and insurance, okay. That's the building insurance, not the tenant insurance. Your tenant, you still need to purchase your own tenant insurance to cover your own business. And that's TMI is 5.5. What that means? Again, that's right. Per square footage per year. So TMI, you need to again 5.5 multiply 4,858. That's annually divided 12. It's monthly. Okay. So how to calculate monthly rental in total for your client?
25 plus 50
Yeah. Yeah. Simplify is just 25 plus this TMI, and then multiply the square footage divided by 12. That's monthly total rental before tax. Again, you
plus
HST on TMI too.
yes, yes,
Including HST.
yes. The question was, do the TMI need to pay HST as well? Answer is yes. TMI also need to pay HST. Okay? So the total, let's say cash flow for your client, let's say your client is the tenant, okay? 25 plus 5.5 multiply the square footage divided by 12 and then multiply 1.13. That's the check. That's the check amount your client need to pay for the landlord each month. Clear?
Yeah.
Okay? Okay, that's good. And definitely for most business, the HST, you can get some rebate or you can get some deduct. But that's your accountant business after you pay. But for cash flow, you need to pay the HST. Also, here, there's another part. As a lease, we need to pay deposit, right? For example, if we have a 5-year lease, we pay first and last month's deposit. How to calculate the deposit? Who can tell me? The question is, let's say 5-year lease. We need to pay first and last month as a deposit.
First month.
Lucy?
First month, the fifth year's last month.
Right. Is that deposit cover TMI as well?
Yeah. No, just plus TMI and just plus the HST.
See, different voice I heard. Somebody saying just rent. Usually, the deposit need the full amount. Rental plus TMI plus HST. That's the whole month for the very beginning, first month. And the 5th year. Why I'm saying 5th year? Because normally the rental is escalation each year. The 5th year is not the same as the first year. The 5th year is last month's rental. So it's not simplified, just the monthly multiply 2. That's not correct, okay? You need to calculate the very first month, the total amount, plus HST, and plus the very last year, the total amount, plus HST. That's the correct amount, okay? Some say certain not that familiar, not that professional agents, just simplify, just if both sides agree, that's okay, okay? But if you are dealing with, let's say, CBRE or Colliers, those are professional commercial agents, you need to know how to calculate. Otherwise, you're gonna be blamed, okay? Okay, that's very important. And let's read. Other than that, that's normal information I think you guys can all understand. And I would go for a few things like this. What's the minimum rental term 36? What's that stands for? Somebody can tell me?
3 years. 3 years.
Right.
3 years.
Yeah, which is from the landlord side, their request, the minimum term is starting 3 years. Minimum. Okay, you can be for 4 years, 5 years, or longer. But if you are saying 1 year, you need to check with the listing agent whether they're gonna accept. I won't say 100% not, but most likely they are not. And by the way, for most commercial lease, 3 years is kind of industry standard of start point. Okay, unless for certain smaller size or certain different purpose, they may accept shortened term. For example, I have another one, not I have, but I saw another one in the west of Toronto. That area gonna be rebuilt, gonna be redeveloped. So they can go by 1 year, okay? And the maximum is 5 years again. Those are preferred by the landlord. That's not very strict hard rule. Everything negotiable. Okay, so don't just think, okay, that's a must. That's not a must, that's a preferred. So if your client looking for, say, 5 plus 5, totally fine, right? Totally fine. And 5 plus 3, totally okay. By the way, what's the 5 plus 3? Anybody
First,
know?
the 5 is fixed by this lease agreement. The next 3 years is possible, it's depend the negotiation, and perhaps the rent will be increased by the negotiation.
Okay.
Yes.
That's good. That's good. It just means 5 plus 3 is gonna be on your agreement. We said the first 5 years is your current lease term. It's all in writing, all defined. Especially the rental is already defined. For example, my listing, the first year 25, second year 26, 27, 28, 29. So the 5th year gonna be 29 per square footage per year. And then the tenant have the right to renew another term with 3-year term. With that moment marketing price. There's gonna be a standard clause to define when you renew, how to define the price, the rental. It's not a fixed number, but it must be both sides acceptable. Usually it's gonna be, we call it marketing rental, and how to define the marketing rental is we need to find 3 neighborhood comparable rentals at that moment after 5 years, okay? And then we do the comparison, get a rental. And the landlord have the same thing. The landlord can provide the same thing, and both sides agree, then you can renew. It's not saying you definitely have the right to renew. You need to have a mutual agreed new rental number. But it somehow protect you because the landlord cannot ask a sky-high rental, which cannot support, right? But if the landlord can find 3, let's say 3 comparables can support his number, then your rental will be increased to that number as well. Okay, get it? Okay, that's for the term. Okay, I think we already covered some slides later. Okay, let's keep going on this master listing. Then, okay. What's important here? See the clear height. Okay.
哪个是我的？这个。
那个现场咖啡现场。
咖啡
没事没事。帮我把水里续了点咖啡。Okay, clear height is also a very important factor for commercial, especially for industrial and warehouse. Okay, so this building was an office, so it's not too high, to be honest. We are currently turning it to a kinds of recreational use, not just office, but for say playgrounds and some clubs, private clubs. So this height is 10. I would say that's kind of standard for office, or for warehouse. Usually for old buildings, it may start with 14, 16, and then 18. Currently, the new buildings, if you go through the Highway 404, you're gonna see new buildings, the minimum start with 24 to 28. Okay, the higher, the more desirable, but definitely the higher the price is higher as well. Because 28, you can simply cut it, divide it as 2 floors, if you need it, right? And most cases, if a tenant rents a 28, they may cut the first front part as 2 floors as office or showroom, and the back part as warehouse, which can, okay, question here. For a warehouse, why the higher, or less, how to answer how to ask the question? I'm trying to ask, do you know why the height is important?
The first, usually they will use some elevator.
Yeah.
Some, not elevator, I don't know exactly.
Lift.
Lift, okay, do that. And in my experience, because some clients, some tenants want to use some trick, to very high, they can do so many things.
So for warehouse, if you ever been to there, so especially after COVID, for most online business, right, for storage, we all use the rack, right? So let's say if 16th, it can only store for 2 levels, 2 floor, like kinds of 2 floor, right, 2 levels. If it goes to 18th, clear height 18th, it can fit 3 floor. If that goes to 24 or 22 sometimes, it can go to 4 pack. Okay, with the same square footage, you can, if you can, originally you can only afford 2, then right now you can put 4, then the size, the volume is doubled, but the price is not doubled, right? That's why people are looking for the high, especially for those business, okay? For example, for a supermarket storage, right? For furnitures and lot of, okay? So, but you need to know, for example, this is called clear height, okay? Again, what's the term of a clear height?
So lowest part of the ceiling.
大点声。
The lowest part of the ceiling in the entire property. The lowest clearing.
Okay. The lowest, not the ceiling, but some industrial building, they have the vent, right? Yeah. Even the spark thing for the fire, right? Those, the lowest point, because that's the threshold, that's the bottom line, how much you can go for, okay? And there's another term called ceiling height. Usually ceiling height is 2 or 3 inch higher than the clear height, okay? Okay. And also, sometimes, see here, the rental area and the office apartment area from this listing is always go by 100, but in most cases for warehouse, it kinds of office area 20% and the warehouse or industrial 80%. That's the case I mentioned earlier. So the front part is office or showroom, and the back part is a warehouse for storage. This percentage is also sensitive for certain tenants. Most tenants prefer the smaller of the office part, the better, because they are looking for larger storage. Even they are a big company, they have let's say they have a 40,000 square footage. They don't need too much office site. Okay, so usually the less of the office, the better. Definitely depending on what kind of business they are, right? If they have too many stuffs, then they may need a larger office area. Okay, that's something in this listing. Let me find another listing to show you something else. I'm trying to explain the different terms. So in the future, if you go through it, that's office. I'm looking for industrial.
Warehouse.
Right.
I give you one.
Okay. Your listing?
Yes. 35.
That's address, right?
Yes. 35. I think I can give you a MS number.
Sure.
That's very easy.
Why not?
Okay.
See, that's a good opportunity for marketing your
Okay.
listing, right?
N
Yeah.
9415809. If someone have client connection.
Okay, let's see. Okay, here is Jin.
Jinlu.
You go by Jinlu, or you have another English name?
I have an English name, but nobody can make a correct pronunciation, so I keep
Okay.
this one.
Okay, so this listing is 20 per square footage. Okay, 2,000 square footage.
Yeah, this sublease.
Okay, it's a sublease. Okay, there's a dock. Good. I'm looking for the dock information actually. Let's go through it. See the TMI, $5. Okay. That's not two, sublease or?
Sublease.
Okay, that's why, see, it's
Yes.
22 months, it's not a full year. That's why I'm asking, right? It's not a full year, sometimes it's sublease. Clear height, 19. Okay, see, that's pretty good. I'm looking for, here. Truck level door, 8, that's a total door. That's not for your unit, I believe.
Height, that's the
High feet, high feet.
Oh, that's height?
High,
Okay.
high feet.
Then you have one truck level door, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. That's what I'm looking for, because on my listing, I don't have a truck level door, so I don't have the information I want to show you. Also for your warehouse, the truck level or drive-through, that's a two different doors, okay? Let's see the picture, see? That's the truck level door, or sometimes we call the dock. Okay, and if that's with like our garage, we call the drive-through. Okay, most clients prefer if they have larger warehouse, they prefer more the dock level and minimum one drive-through for smaller size cars. Okay, that's some inside the picture. Let's take a look. Okay, that's the door.
Yes.
Okay, see, that's a 3 level. Okay, because it's 19. Okay, I said 18 is available for 3 level already, so it's 19, one foot higher. Pretty good. Yeah. Let me see if anything else. Any questions so far? Anything that you are not quite understand on the listing?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Because I choose the category is sublease, but
Okay.
in our new system, if I find some warehouse, we choose the agents usually choose lease.
Right.
In this, they can find my listing, or they should turn to sublease.
They need to turn the sublease because when I
We
search,
only need the channel.
Yes.
They cannot see yours if they are
Yeah,
here.
that's it. Here, yeah.
There is a sublease. Okay.
Mm.
Most people only choose lease.
Yeah.
So if you list it as a sublease, then people cannot see your listing.
We have to choose these.
Even
But,
My suggestion, if I ask my suggestion, I'm not quite sure, 100% sure whether that's by law. You can have two listings. One is sublease, one is lease. On the lease listing, broker remarks, you put, this is
Sublease.
this is sublease associated to that number, that sublease number. Okay, so you have a better exposure. Okay, but you have to mention that. Okay.
We need to sign two listing agreement with the.
No.
No. All the data information.
The same.
The same.
Yeah.
I will do right now.
Okay. Yeah. Any other question?
No, I think for this case, for that gentleman case, he came back to the lease agreement. If the agreement was another option, that's another really good marketing opportunity. Because right now the term is just 22 months. So that plays for a lot of new clients to shop. So if you can have some like option for one, option for another 2 years, that's a really good marketing spot. You need to add on this.
Right. They are
Just
making
my
deals.
personal recommendation.
Yeah. The lady just give you more suggestions. You can make the terms more flexible rather than just the 22 months. Okay. All right. I think that's about how. Most likely, you should be able to read or understand commercial lease. I'm gonna find another one, which is a different price. Okay. Let me see if I can see. Oh, let's see here. So this is 2,450. When you see something, say, over 100, especially like a few hundred or 1,000, that's not per square footage anymore. Okay. Currently, only downtown. Maybe I saw something like 90 bucks per square footage. That's what I saw before. And right now in downtown, kinds of 60 range for some retails along Yonge Street. Okay, but you won't see a couple of thousand for a square footage, right? So that's we call it flat fee. That's not multiply the square footage anymore. Okay, that's with this square footage 800 something. The monthly rental is 2,450. That's monthly rental already. Okay, so you can make the adjustment quickly, and that's not including the TMI yet. So you have to calculate TMI here separately. Okay. So
This per year.
I think this is per month.
Per month.
Again, that's why we need to go through it. Yeah, you need to understand whether this is per year or per month. Again, if that's already 100 something, it's per month. Okay. If that's say $5, $10 something, it's per square footage per year. That's something a little bit confused, but once you get used to it, I don't think that's a problem at all. Okay. If you are not 100% sure, simply just verify with the listing agent. Okay. Again, this is called a net lease, but definitely not. This is a triple net lease. So that's something not that clear. Okay. See the percentage, office 40%, industrial 60. Okay. highly doubt it, because it's only 800 square footage in total. Doesn't matter. Yeah, that's something I want to show you on this listing. It's just the price shows differently. Okay, I may have something else. I saw interesting. Let me show you.
Jason, I have a
Yeah.
questions, right? So I'm
Go.
looking for a recreation purpose,
Mhm.
anything like warehouse, whatever's, right? But the type I search is also multi-function or multi-purpose category, right?
Your question is?
I'm looking for recreation purpose, like say for example, you're looking to play tennis court,
Yeah.
badminton, this kind of
Those
things,
sports
right?
one, right?
Yeah, sports one, yeah. Like virtual one, not the real one, right? It's virtual,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
to play with the walls, right? But I'm still looking for, so the category I'm looking for is also multi-use catalog, right?
Okay. So your question is how to find those listings.
Right.
Okay. Let me finish that one and come back to yours. Okay. I'm still talking about the different price of lease rentals. Okay. For this one, I think see the listing agent said the total rent based on 23 per square footage net plus 16 something square footage cam plus 5.97 taxes. Okay, what's that mean?
Common area maintenance.
Good, good. Oh, you guys are good. Common area maintenance. Okay, it's simply just like maintenance fee. Okay, so they just split or more clarify, define the maintenance fee, the tax. Okay, there's no insurance, right? Not there. Okay, and hydro. See, that's something. If that's a little bit different, the listing agent provides some more information. Okay, that's a term you need to understand. Okay, I think we got pretty much enough. Just to answer the question, if you are looking for recreational for lease, right?
Yes.
And what I'm usually do is here. So you don't choose anything, okay? Because the complicated part for commercial is different people have a different define of category. The way you define may not the way the listing agent define it. Okay, so better you make all available. Okay, and then you go to here to add a keyword. You have two ways. There is a category here. See, you have more options, right? But I'm not choosing those as well. This is a recreational. You can choose this one to see if you can see anything. If you can, that would be great. Let me try. See? Nothing, right? Nobody chose it. If the leasing agent didn't choose this subcategory, then you won't see it at all. Okay. Another way is you put a keyword. Remarks. Okay. Either here or here. Okay. Let me try here. How to spell? Recreation. Recreational. That right?
Yeah.
Gonna make sure it's the right one, okay? Let's see. It doesn't mean those listings are allowed for recreational. It may say not allowed for recreational, okay? So that's why we need to check. Okay. So this way you already filtered. Okay, you already filtered some listings. See if this one is allowed or not allowed. Okay.
No.
Where it says no.
Last line, client remark.
Oh, no recreational. See, that's what I'm saying. Okay. No recreational. You know what? This kind of listing is very desirable recently, and I don't think that's gonna be easy to. Oh, this is too big. This won't.
Yeah, so usually what I do, right, like I just call agent.
Yeah,
to ask them.
that's one way, and by this way, you can definitely filter some, and luckily, say for those already stay on the market this long, I highly doubt. Okay. Recreational is very
Maybe consider.
okay, maybe consider. See? Okay, anyway, that's just answer your question. You can use different keywords. Okay, sometimes people are looking for, say, automobile, resale, or repair. Those specific needs. You can always use those keywords, okay? Okay. Let's go back to our PowerPoint. Okay, I think we covered most of the terms already. Right? The base rent is just normally we see the net rent. Okay. Operating expense, then well, that's not too much important here. I got this because as you can see just now, if some price based on the square footage means the square footage is very important. That's direct related to the price you're gonna pay, right? I think we have that issue when we list our unit. The tenant and the landlord have some argue with how much square footage should be, because we have the whole picture and we cut it to 2 units, and the cut is not directly cut. There's different angle cut. Then it's a little bit difficult to measurement and to define. Okay, so this definition is based on BOMA. I talked about BOMA last time, right? So if you had my last session, you need to know BOMA is a kind of industry standard, okay, method that people go by that standard. So this is an office floor plan. Under BOMA's standard, certain area, like see the elevator area, we call the vertical penetrations? Vertical penetrations, 就是用中文说就是垂直竖通的那种面积啊，多层打通的那种面积，就不计入到你这层面积了。Okay, so this kind of area is not countable. Okay, and the common area, say for the lobby, okay, on this ground, those common area, see the gross area is the full floor, the whole floor, minus the vertical part is rentable. The rentable is for the landlord, for the rental. Rentable means you are based on the rentable area to calculate your rental, okay? And the rentable, including some common area, you divide it, or less the common area is your usable area. 所以中文就是公摊面积，对吧？明白吧？啊 ，Okay, so usable area is for your tenant, for your client. how much room, how much square footage they have to use, but they pay by rentable. You get it? Any question?
Yeah, I have a question. You some for they have the common, that means the washroom is including in the useful area or maybe the
Yeah, washroom in as a common area.
common area.
Yeah, yeah. How about stairways? Okay.
Depends on the cross.
Okay, let's say for this kind of 2 or 3 floor building, if you have a stairway in your part as your private, your exclusive use, the stairway is calculated as rentable because that's for your own use. If the stairway is public use, that's not calculated. Okay? That's just standard. You may not use it unless you are represent landlord and the landlord don't have a exactly square footage. So you need to know how to measure it. Okay? Cool. Okay, so now we know how the commercial listing looks like. When you check it, you understand how big it is, what's the basic factors, and you know how the terms. Those are key terms for your offer. Okay, and you need to know how to define, or you need to discuss with your client to ask how long they can start for. Normally, if that's a new business or not too big business, they may start with 3 years. Okay, just for more flexibility in case they grow too much or they cannot do that after a few years. Okay, but if that's a stable business, those clients looking for longer term. For example, if they are doing daycare business, they need to put almost $1 million invest for the renovation. They are looking for minimum 10 years. Okay, for some franchise like Burger King, Tim Horton, they may looking for 15 plus 15, those kinds of term. Okay, how about McDonald's?
Don't leave home without.
How about McDonald's? Anybody know?
Usually the 20 something.
McDonald's own their own building.
And not all the McDonald's.
Yeah, not all, but
Yeah.
I tell you, most they're looking for minimum like 20, 30 years.
Yeah.
But they own most of the buildings they have. McDonald's is one of the largest landlords. Okay. Okay, security deposit I already mentioned. Oh, so deposit we already mentioned. But most cases in commercial lease, the landlord also require a security deposit. Okay, the difference between normal deposit and a security deposit, you need to understand. Normal, say, deposit is counted monthly, and it's gonna define this deposit gonna cover first and last, or first and the last 3, let's say. Okay, it's gonna be deducted while you use it. Security deposit won't deduct it. It's gonna be held by the landlord until the termination of the agreement. Until your client finish and move out, they return the security deposit per agreement. For example, you cannot damage or something. You cannot. You need to restore certain condition. Then they give you the deposit back. That's called the security deposit. And also there are certain terms. Let's say if you have a 5-year term, but you left during the term, then the security deposit won't give you back anymore. Okay? That's the difference of the security deposit. Okay, here is a quick process for a lease deal. Okay, I think I mentioned that a bit before. I just mentioned some difference. Definitely, you can simply just like residential. You check the listing, discuss with your client, book the showing, go for it, put an offer. That also works. That also works for, I would say, some smaller size commercials. Okay, for some larger size, there's different way to do it. For example, if you are looking for these 40,000 square footage building, okay, most people will follow this way. One, before you go, you ask an information package or brochure or called marketing material or flyer, whatever. You can email or task the listing agent to ask the information, because on the listing there is certain information may not enough for your client to make decision. And for such a big building, if you just walk through it, it takes time. So people prefer to have all those information on their table. They have say 3 or 5. They pick 1 or 2 to go to physically see it. That's why you need to collect those information. Okay, most professional agent, commercial agent, they will have those information package, and they will happily send to you before you go, because they don't want to waste their time as well. So I can show you one of the package. Is from others. We have ours as well. See, this is from Colliers. I just got it yesterday because I have a client gonna see like a 10,000 square footage warehouse this afternoon. So I asked for this, and I already booked the showing. So this address, see, that's the agent. That's the key information. Okay. See, almost same, but that defined more clearly, clear height. Okay, TMI, asking price, zooming, some pictures, okay, neighborhood, and floor plan. Okay, so based on that, that's gonna be pretty, your client gonna have a very good information to make their decision. I don't know if I have my own one to show you. I think we have something as well. 70. Here. That's our the 70s. 70 Valleywood. That's in total square footage. We divide it with that's a 2 floors. So see, that's the price, height, floor plan. So we have all the floor plan for different units. But if you go for the MS listing, you only have that specific unit. You may not have a whole picture for the building. But with this package, you have a better understanding how the first floor looks like and how the second floor looks like, right? Okay, that's why you need this kinds of a package, and that's some Rondo's picture for different unit. Okay, because we had some newly renovation, and those are some samples for potential uses. That's the zoning. See, clearly defined and shows what kind of business is allowed in this building. And highlights of the neighborhood. pretty much. Right. Okay, so if you are representing a landlord for a such size of property, better you have this kind of information package. Okay, but if you have a say pretty quick and small size, say 1,000 thing, you may or may not have to do that. Okay. Okay, the first one, collecting the information. In some cases, yeah.
What are that 60% mean?
Okay, so the question was on my brochure, it shows MC60. Wendy is asking what's the MC60 stand for. Okay, that's a zoning. That's mixed commercial. The 60 means in this building, the whole building, 60 can be used as a office, and the 40 is industrial. Okay, so for different municipality, they have a different definition. Okay, and our is 60, which give you the sense how much percentage that you can use as office, how much percentage you can use for retail or industrial. Okay?
Okay, thank you. So, if a tenant rent space, can they change the percentage themselves?
No. For the building, usually the tenant don't have the power or the ability to change the percentage of the zoning, but they can coordinate with the landlord to submit a zoning adjustment to the city to make the changes. And the changes gonna be stay with the building, not with the tenant, which means that the tenant may pay for it, but if that approved, then that's new changes gonna be stay with the building. Okay, so that's why tenant you cannot do by your own, but you can collaborate with landlord, and most landlord will be happy to assist you to do any changes, because most changes will be better use for the property. For example, if that was an office and right now you change it to other, say, for professional uses like massage kind of thing. If they are not allowed, they can apply for zoning changes. Or recently I have a case that a warehouse don't allow for automobile, and the tenant is willing to submit a zoning change to allow automobile resale. If that's approved, that's increased value to the building and increase the rental as well.
这个价格是多少？
哪个？
就是这个劝举这个租赁。
Oh, so the zoning change price is different for different municipality, different city. Roughly, if that's a minor change or small change, it's couple of thousand. If you cannot do it by your own, you need to do by say a planner. Okay, you need to hire a third party to do it. They charge a fee as well. Yeah, you need to budget like 10,000 to do this thing. If that's a complicated, hard zoning change that requires more, like a floor plan or design whatsoever, it may be more.
还有，我就用中文回答
行。
这个它的租赁那个社区的话，它不允许你 office 做成一个 medical 的 office， 但是 landlord 的话说，你就做，给你试做3到5个月，又没人查你，到你之后壮大了，然后再搬到一个可以做的一个 location， 对两方来说都是挺诱惑的。
你的问题是什么？
对，可不可以做？
可不可以？
对。
你猜。Okay, the question was, if the zoning not allowed for certain use, but the tenant want to try, take risk.
Yeah.
Okay. So first of all, I don't think the landlord will warranty anything.
No.
Which means
That's the word.
tenant, if the landlord give you the permission, doesn't mean you are legally, okay? It just means the landlord don't give you any trouble. They just simply don't see anything. And if the city give you ticket, or the city give you order, then you'll still be penalty on your business. So the tenant have a risk. If you ask me if they can do it or not, let's say I can see some business doing, especially there are not too many advertisement. They made small business, they try to do something. Yes, I see some, but they have risk. Okay?
Another question about before the showing some big big deal. They ask us, usually for sale of the business, they usually ask some confidentiality agreement.
NDA.
Agreement.
Yeah.
Confidential
问这
agreement.
边啊。
等一下，温蒂，稍等一下。
保密协议. Yes. How about this one?
OK， 马上说。
Okay.
温蒂，你讲。
Regarding the security deposit, do we need to add HST? And let's see if we have 3 months security deposit, that's based on the first month or based on the last month of the term?
Okay, so for security deposit, it is not necessary to follow the monthly payment. Most likely, it's going to be defined a fixed number. For example, 10,000, 20,000, just for easy for both sides. It could be around, normally it's around your monthly payment. Let's say your monthly payment is 11,000 certain number, okay? And the landlord may just ask, okay, give me 10,000 as your security deposit, or 15,000. Roughly goes to round to a number, just easy for both sides. So it's not necessary to calculate by HSD or whatsoever, because that's not cover your monthly payment. Okay, that's your first question. Second question was, if it's 1 plus 3, how about those 3 months, right? Wendy, that's your question, right?
Yeah.
That's based on your agreement, okay? If for a commercial lease, if you have a 5-year lease, I mentioned if by standard is your first and last month, it's gonna be your first and the 5th year's last month's payment. If you define the tenant is voluntarily pay another 2 months deposit, most likely you need to define those 2 months or your first year's last 2 months or your 5th year's. Okay, I saw a lot of cases that 2 months is defined for the first year only. Okay, because the tenant's willing to use it as soon as possible rather than hold that amount in landlord hands. The tenants pay 2 months extra usually because they are new business or they have a less support of a financial. So the landlord may have a certain concern with their capability. Okay, and they do confident with their business or their financial situation, so they don't have the problem to pay it in advance. And on the landlord end, as long as they get 3 months and the business run the whole year without any issue, the landlord should be already have a peace of mind. So most likely the landlord can accept those 2 months to be covered first year, last 2 months, and then that should be works in most cases. That's what I see. Okay? Oh, again, that's defined by both sides. If the landlord insists those 2 months is to be the 5th years, well, so be it. If you agree, then that's the deal, right? If you are not comfortable and not agree, then you can always negotiate. Okay, that's the second question. All right, let's come back to the process. Okay, we just asked for the NDA, the product information. That's why I put NDA there. See, NDA means non-disclosure agreement. 中文叫保密协议。In certain cases, especially if you are looking for buy a business, and you are asking for certain numbers like their income, their expense, and or if you are purchase a commercial, say a big building with business or whatsoever, and that listing site asking you sign an NDA before they send more information to you. That's very common. That's very common. And your listing brokerage have their version of NDA. Pretty much the NDA is saying, okay, the listing site provide you this information for you and your client, this client only. You cannot use this for public. You cannot disclose to anybody else. That's the NDA used for, okay? Well, I didn't see any trouble before by signing this one. So usually if the other side asking me to sign, I just simply sign it, okay, and return it so we can get more information. For example, last year I helped my client to purchase an airport. It's pretty far, 3.5 hour drive. When we ask for more information, they ask us to sign that NDA, okay? But you need to know, or you need to understand how to explain this to your client, right? Some tenants may not understand. They are worried about signing anything, okay? Then you have to let them know this is the normal process. Okay, this is just to protect their information, not disclosed to public or whatsoever, and not too many restrictions for other things. All right? That's for the NDA. Once you have the information, once you can definitely go showing, as I mentioned. So again, commercial showing compared to residential showing, the difference is usually commercial client, for example, your client, is already know what kinds of property they are looking for. They have a certain criteria, like ceiling height, how big it's gonna be, and roughly their budget, how much they can afford for, the location, okay, and what's their business. So this location must allow for their business, right? For those criteria, if you mix them up, then you don't have too much choice at all. Just like yeah, for sporting like badminton or basketball or indoor golf course recently is very popular. A lot of people looking for that. So you won't have too many options at all. So most cases, let's say if you can find one, come to the market, and everything, including like the dock, will be certain amount of dock to fulfill your client needs, right? And sometimes for office, the business hour is credential. For retail, again. So all those factors, if that's already met your client needs, then better go for the showing as soon as possible, I would say. Okay? And don't expect, say, show 1 round, 2 rounds, 3 rounds, 20 different properties, then you can pick one. No, not working like that way. Okay? If your client have, say, 2 or 3 options to choose, that's already good. That's already pretty good. Most cases in commercial, if you have a, say mature client, they already know what they are looking for, then 1 or 2 showings is done. Then you're gonna go next step, which is putting offers or LOI. Okay? What's the LOI stands for?
Letter of intent.
Okay, good. Letter of intent. Okay, 中文叫意向书。Letter of intent. Why we have a letter of intent rather than an offer? Most cases because the offer is so complicated for a commercial, right? You need to draft the 5 years and doing the calculation, lot of paperwork. If you change a little bit, $1, you have to redo everything. Too much work, right? And before people doing that, so for commercial, most people, especially for the large size, okay, large size, people prefer to have a letter of intent. For example, right now, we are listing this one. Just give you a sense. See, this is it's pretty far. It belongs to King. It's in between Bradford and East Gwillimbury. It's a new area along Highway 11. That's new commercial plaza. We listed there, 35 per square footage for retail. To be honest, I have the floor plan on the table. Most cases, when there is an agent looking for a unit, they submit me a letter of intent. The letter of intent only define basic and important message. For example, what's the rent they are offering? Okay, what kind of term they are looking for? What's the business they want to do? How big they want it? What kinds of say free rent or credit they are looking for? Okay, only those ones. You don't see those complicated terms on the LOI. Okay, so by 1 page or 2 page only, we already know, okay, what's they are offering, and we can like the offer, we can counter it, we can counter back and negotiate the price, terms. You can change everything, right? If they ask us 6 months of free rent, we can give you 3, we cut it to 3, right? Definitely the amount of rental could be changed as well. And then once people counter back and then eventually accept it, then we can go next step to sign a formal offer. Then that offer is already after negotiation, the number won't change at all. So you can just make a clean one with all the legal terms. Okay. Oh, by the way, on the LOI, if your client have a certain specific requirement, you can put as well. For example, signage. Signage, in most business, signage is very important. You can require signage, or you can require dedicated parking space. Let's say I need 5 dedicated exclusive parking space. You can put on the LOI. Eventually, you can just take all the terms to your formal offer. Okay? That's one way. Another way, yeah, go ahead.
Good question for letter of intent is always the legal binding.
It is legal binding, not binding per se, because you still need to pay a deposit.
So I mean, if it's the legal binding, that means once the client is already signed the ROI, they cannot just get rid of without no risk.
I won't say no risk. It is a legal document, but from my experiences, first of all, after you sign the letter of intent, you still need to pay deposit. Okay, letter of intent plus deposit is kind of binding for intention. But there is a case when you sign the legal document, because there's always have an extra clause or terms. There are certain terms that both sides cannot agree, okay, then both sides can still mutually release, can still. Okay, you cannot say, okay, because you signed this one, you must list this one. It's just, let me put this way. Letter of intent is kind of engaged, not married. Okay, so people have a common ground, have a 就是已经有共识。Okay, I saw some letter of intent they mutually list each other eventually because some little detail thing they cannot agree. Okay, I don't really know. You can hold this question for a lawyer. I don't know if the letter of intent signed and the deposit is paid, but let's say the landlord don't release the tenant. If it gonna goes to regulation, I didn't go that step.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
So letter of intent, is it only one-on-one? So when you sign a letter of intent, you cannot entertain other offers?
That's a good question. I don't think so.
Or I accept one letter of intent, I can also accept another one, and it just, I'm a negotiator with both, because it's.
Yeah, I understand. I ever have a multiple letter of intent. It's just like a multiple offer. We only accept one. Let me think. If we accept multiple, I don't think
Because I
that's
think
proper.
If I were to submit a letter of intent, I would say, I request one-on-one negotiation, you cannot entertain other parties.
Well, I would say this way. The landlord can collecting multiple letter of intent, definitely, at the same time.
Sign one.
But they can only sign, accept one. You cannot say negotiate with other party. I don't think that's proper. But if the landlord accept multiple for one unit, I don't think that's proper way. I don't think so. You may have trouble in the future. Yeah. Okay. But definitely, in the meanwhile, you can definitely have multiple letter of intent. That's no problem. All right. Answer your question. Okay. After letter of intent, you can put offer, or in some cases, the landlord have their own standard lease agreement. You can directly sign the landlord standard lease agreement. For, let's say, those steps, okay? Letter of intent, offer, and then landlord standard lease agreement. That's a standard way. But you can skip one step, okay? You can put offer directly, and then after the offer accepted, usually you give a time, say 1 week, 2 weeks, both sides sign the landlord standard agreement, or you can, just as you mentioned, because sometimes the landlord don't have a standard, then the offer gonna be. If the landlord don't have a standard lease agreement, then you must have a offer. The letter of intent is not, let's say, it's not a full binding one. So you must have either an offer accepted or a landlord standard agreement.
If only the offer without this agreement.
That's okay.
That's
That's okay. If you can only like a 400, right? Only have an offer and accept it without the letter of intent, without standard agreement, that's totally fine. That's totally fine. It's just based on different scenario, what I'm saying. Let's say you are just buying a small business, and that business just one, the landlord or the seller only have that one business. They don't even have a standard agreement at all. Offer is fine. Okay. And the offer can be skipped only if the landlord have their own version of an agreement. Get it? Okay? Okay, so from there, I think we already have pretty good, we have information showing everything, and then we got the offer and we got it signed. You just make sure that your client understand all those detail part. I don't think I'm gonna go for those. Okay.
Yes, how we got the commission.
Commission, last part, commission, very important. Okay. Just like how to calculate the rental. Similar methodology or similar formula. Only thing is commission most likely only based on rental, net rental, or base rental. Base rental and net rental in most cases are the same thing, okay? Which is not including the TMI, not including any extra rental that the tenant pay to the landlord, okay? Only net rental. So how to calculate? I should show you earlier. For my listing, it says 4% first year, 2% rest year, net, maximum 5 years. That's the commission description, right? And some cases you see 4% first year, 1.75 second, and the rest year, no maximum, which is good. Okay, you can sign a longer one. that's related to here. You need to calculate for each year. The net rental, let's say 25, multiply let's say 1,000 square footage. That's the whole year rental. Multiply the first year commission rate, 4%. That's your first year commission. Second year rental, again, because it's isolated, okay, it may be 26. Multiply 1,000. That's your second year total rental. Multiply 2%. Third year, you always need to calculate like that because each year the rental are different. Don't use your second year multiply 4. That's not correct. Okay? Because third year the rental is increased slightly, a little bit, and then you add it up, 5 year, add it up. That's your total commission. Again, that's your total commission. That's one thing. Second thing, how to pay the total commission. Most people, a lot of agents ask me. That's depending on the listing side. Depending on the listing side. If most cases, right now, I saw most cases, the listing side will pay once. Once the tenant moved in and started paying their first month's rental, they're gonna release the commission. And the commission is 5-year commission, paid off one time. I saw most cases. I don't know your. Maybe if you are doing large, say more than 50,000 square footage one, they may go by year by year, because that amount is huge. The landlord side will consider their cash flow. But if I see for, let's say, for even 10,000 square footage rental, they pay once because it's less work. Okay, otherwise they need to have this payment on each year. Okay, and your brokerage need to chasing the listing brokerage each year. Okay, for 5 years long. Well, if the landlord side, the listing side saying we're gonna pay 1 year by yearly, annually, then you don't have a choice. You can argue, you can ask, but legally they have the ability to pay that annually. Okay? If that happens, I think we have one case happens. For big, large organization, they may pay annually because they have their, say, accountant team. They don't mind that work. They more care about their cash flow. Then you have to have a good notes for your own, that for each year, when it's on the downline, you better send an email to your own deal department to send the invoice to the other party to get the money. Otherwise, it may not automatically pay to you, unless both sides have a very good system to have the tracking. Okay? That's about it. And in some cases for small size, like for those flat fees, 3,000, 5,000 thing, they may like more like a residential, they pay you half month's rent. That also happens. Okay? And again, there's no, say, standard, everything negotiable. Okay? They may put 3% plus 1.5. If you think that's not fair, you want to afford, ask for it. Negotiate with the leasing side. Okay?
Question,
Yep.
if the client have another option, I mean, after this term, the client also want to initiate another 3 years term. So if the agent still can charge the commission based on the second option.
Okay, good question. I believe the question was if the first term, let's say 5 years, finished,
Yes, yeah.
okay, if we can get another term's commission, right?
Yeah.
Based on your BRA. You must have a BRA with your client. Okay? On that BRA, it's defined. I charge you commission based on what? If on your BRA it says it's gonna be charged annually this lease term, plus if any renewal term. Okay, that's for your client. Then you need to confirm with the listing side, because the listing side most likely they won't pay you. They only pay your first term. Let's say 5 plus 5. The first 5 you got commission. The second 5 no, definitely no for the listing side. Okay, that's the problem. That's why, well, in some cases, if your client prefer longer, better you have the longer term at the first fixed term. If they want a 7, they want a 10, you can have a 10 years plus 5. But be careful. Most, I don't know the percentage, but I saw that a lot, like my listing. The listing side already defined the commission paid maximum 5 years, which means doesn't matter how much years more, they only pay you 5 years. Okay? Unless you don't agree, then again, you need to negotiate with the listing side. And both sides agree, then you can change it on your, say, the agreement.
So right now, what's the standard practice in this market?
You mean years?
Yeah, the years and the commission.
5 years is pretty common.
5 years is common though.
Yeah.
So maximum you usually go for 5 years.
Yeah, but for large ones again, for large ones like more than 50,000, those ones that
Maybe
easily go to, yeah, it's gonna be more. Cause anybody who lease those huge warehouse, they're looking for long term. They most likely gonna sign a 10 years lease, and that agent will be definitely unhappy if you only pay 5 years if they have a 10 years lease. So for those larger ones, they will pay whatever the lease gonna be. The 5-year one I'm saying is a medium or smaller size. Yeah. And by the way, for those we call them, say, full-time professional commercial, not agents, companies like CBRE colliers. Okay, they usually have a very strict on commissions, and they charge very high commissions than ours, usually. Okay. Yeah, I think that's about it for my today's presentation. Any questions so far? Again?
Sorry, quick. For the commission calculations, are you able to use an example to demonstrate the calculation?
Commission, right?
Yeah, can you use that example?
Yeah, sure. I can just simply find one like, let me use my listing. Okay. Let me use my listing. Right. Let me check. Are you able to see my listing on the screen? Let me redo it. Okay, I'm sharing my listing 70 Valleywood. We can calculate together, okay? Sorry. So for commission, you only charge the net lease again, right? It doesn't matter how much the TMI. So we don't have any TMI whatsoever. So for the first year, it's 25 multiply this square footage, 48, 58. Somebody can calculate for me. 121,000. That's the total rental for the first year, right? And the first year, I'm paying 4%, I believe.
48.
See, the commission is here. 4% first year. So that number multiply 0.04. 4,800 something. 58. That's your first year commission. Okay? Then second year, let's say it's escalated $1. Second year rental is 26. Multiply the area, and then multiply 2%. That's your second year, and then you write it down. Okay, third year is 27, multiply the area, and the same 2%. Usually the rest years are the same. Okay, it's very rare. The different year they have different rate. I saw one case that it's getting lower. Like the second year is 2%, third year 1.5, fourth year 1, and last year 0.5 kind of thing. I saw once, but not too common. Okay, you need to base on that as long as you agreed upon that. Then the second year, third year, fifth year, once you calculate all the fifth year, then add it up, all the 5 years added up. That's your total commission for tax. Okay, you good, Jim?
Yeah, thank you.
No problem. Any other questions for today?
Jason, I have a question. It's regarding to the fiction period.
What?
The fiction 免租期, the fiction period.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so I want to know what is the common fiction days for retail, office, and warehouse. And the second question is there any obvious difference for the fiction days or a pretty new building or an old property?
Okay, good question. It's a little bit complicated. I'll try to make it quick. Okay, so first of all, we call it free rental. Okay, free rental is based on the condition of the property. Let's say when we rent this office, it's newly renovated. To be honest, we don't need renovation at all, but we still use that as a bargaining power. Again, that's not really you need to renovation. That's a bargaining power. We try to argue for 3 months. I think eventually we get 1 month only, because the landlord know that you don't need renovation. That's one thing, based on the condition. If that's an old building, it's already outdated, or the current condition not fulfill your business, which the landlord understand you definitely need a renovation, then the landlord may consider give you the free rent period. Okay, how long? Usually based on common sense, how long it's gonna take you to do the renovation. For example, 1,000 square footage, if you wanna make a restaurant, and if you wanna say make a totally new, minimum 2 months probably, right? Minimum, and 3 months may be considerable. That's always based on the situation that whether that property who's on the driver's seat. Again, just like we sell the second-hand property, whether that property is easy to sell or there's multiple options for the tenants who are on the driver's seat is very important. Okay, let's say for a common is for a couple of thousand. If that's definitely need a renovation, 3 months is a good start, or it's a say a balance point. If, for example, we rent 15,000 square footage for my listing, that tenant need to do a playground, need to import material from China. We give them 5 months, right? 5 months free rental. Okay, and that's your first question. Okay, for new buildings, let's say for this building I'm representing right now, it's a new construction. It's just there's nothing at all other than the structure and the vent, HVAC. There's nothing else. Definitely you can ask. There's 2 options. One, you can ask called free rental, and also you can ask we call renovation allowance, or somebody called renovation credit. Same thing. Okay. The difference is if you ask a free rental, then that defined by month, by time. How many months you get? Okay, 3 months, 6 months, whatsoever. If you get renovation allowance, means you get per square footage dollars. Let's say you rent the space, it's a brand new building. Okay, you get it with $13 per square footage per year, and the landlord give you 10, let's say $15 per square footage as a renovation allowance, which means they're gonna deduct that credit, okay, as your rental. Get it? So you have two different methods to negotiate the free part. Okay? There are certain standards based on different location. Let's say if it's a high-end building, the landlord may, for example, for all the, say, Yorkdale Mall or One Mills Mall, they definitely can get some renovation allowance. Yeah, because they are high-end, they definitely need an investment on that, and the landlord will expecting a good tenants coming in, so they always have that budget. Okay, does that answer your question, Juliet?
I have another one. As a listing agent,
Yeah, thank you.
as a listing agent, we have the responsibility to verify the TMI.
As a listing agent,
Yes.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
And then the-
As a listing agent, you get the information from the landlord. Okay? On the lease agreement regarding to TMI, again, there is a standard clause. Okay? The lawyer gonna explain to you, but normally the standard clause gonna say, okay, the TMI is based on the expense that the landlord paid for the either previous year or the current year, right? That's to be auditable, which means as a tenant, you have the right to ask a proof, to have either the landlord give you the proof of all the expense like tax, insurance, maintenance fee, right? Receipts, or the landlord, if that's a big company, it's a management company, they have an audit company, third party, to audit their expense. And then they come to a report, audit the report, saying this building for this year, the audit expense is this amount, multiply total rentable space. It goes to for each square footage, how much it's gonna be. They provide this report. If you, as a tenant, you can ask, then the landlord gonna give you this audited report. That's the tenant and the landlord. See, there's no listing agent at all here. Okay, I don't think we have the responsibility to make sure that the TMI is accurate. And again, just for your more information, the TMI is also changing. It's also changing. And some cases, if you want to protect your tenant, okay, some clause saying the TMI can be adjusted based on each year's expense, but cannot exceed 10%. So you cap it, okay? You cap it. That's how you protect your tenant. If you are listing site, you need to consider whether that percentage is acceptable or not. Okay? And yeah, that's regarding TMI. And TMI could be adjustable, means let's say the tenant pays this year's TMI with the fixed number, $5.5 for this year. Eventually, the audited report saying the TMI is actually 5.8. Then on the second year, next year, first year, then the tenant need to pay a TMI adjustment check for the balance. If the audit report saying, okay, the TMI is a 5.2, then the tenant have such balance as a credit for the next payment. Okay? Got it. Cool. Okay, I think that's about it for, yeah.
Yeah, Jason, I have another question, right? So usually with commercial lease, how much is the lawyer cost?
Lawyer cost
Yeah.
for review?
Yeah, for the whole procedures, right? Review.
You don't need a lawyer for closing, per se. It's a lease. You don't need a lawyer for closing. So the lawyer charge is just for review the document or for joining check. That's totally different. For review, for commercial, I would say a couple of hundred. based on how many pages, how long. Usually lawyer gonna have their standard how to charge you. Some lawyer charge by page.
Average is like 400, 500 something per list.
Yeah,
Yeah.
couple of hundred.
Yeah.
But if you require or you need the lawyer do due diligence, that's another cost. Due diligence is not just a review. Due diligence, the lawyer need to check the zoning, they need to file to municipality to get some responded information. They need to check even the environmental, okay? They need to check certain things or even say title. Then they come up with all the information and give you a due diligence report. Then that's charge extra.
Okay, how about not for leasing, for buying or selling a commercial lease property?
I didn't get it. You mean how much a commercial lawyer charge
Exactly, yes.
for a sale?
Yeah, for sale.
For
Sales of-
sale.
Yeah, sales of business.
That's definitely based on the transaction. Let's say for a 50 million one, that's definitely different with a 5 million one. You know what I mean? Let me put this way. If that's a 1 million, 2 million commercial deal, smaller one, okay? It's slightly, not slightly, from I know like 3,000 to 4,000 lawyer fee for this level. But if it's more than 10 million one, definitely a different one. Okay?
But you need to consider assignment fee and also administration fee from the landlord side as well.
All right? Cool. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you very much for coming. Okay. Again, don't forget at the very beginning, I showed you guys with the recent TRAP director election. So let me find out the picture for you guys. Okay. I think that's good for everybody, and I wanna you know this information first. For those who missed the first part, I wanna talk this again. So November 13th and November 18th is our TRAP director election. Yeah, may I have your attention? Very quick, 1 minute. Between November 13th and November 18th, gonna be TRAP director election. I highly encourage you check your email, find the link to vote. Doesn't matter you vote anybody, you can vote whoever you want to support. If you don't have anybody, I will highly recommend Walter Liu. Okay, he's very senior with 40 years TRAP experiences. I mean, agent experiences, 40 years, and 18 years as TRAP arbitration and professional standard committee member. And he's also a president of, do you know REC? Real estate, what's the REC? 加拿大地产学院那个英文是什么
CRE
不是 REIC, right? REIC. And also he's the CCM, what I have right now. He's also the CCAM Central Canada Chapter President on 2015. And multiple years of directors for CCAM. So he's very senior. I would highly recommend that if you want to vote him on November 13th and until 18th. Okay? Question or?
No question. Yeah, like if we just finished this seminar, I just want to borrow like people's attention and introduce like myself and some valid information. So my name is Laura. I'm not an agent. I'm Sue's friend, and actually I'm from the landlord side. So we have 12 property. Some of it is shopping center. Some of it is like first floor of the residential. We meet each other. Maybe you don't recognize me this time.
Okay.
Never mind. And also we have some plaza. So we have all different kinds of property in Scarborough, Morecambe, like different locations. Some of them in North York, and all different purpose. Like some we build them for office. Some of them is like shopping plaza. So the most familiar shopping plaza you guys may notify is the Heidi Lau in Scarborough. So that's one of the property we own, and I represent landlord. So I just want to provide you guys some information because I know you guys have a lot of clients, and I know if your client looking for open retail, maybe open for recreation, that's your destination, we may have some opportunity can offer. Yeah.
Cool.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, that's about for today's session. Should you come on the right time?
I'm so high the whole time. So Nora, she works with a developer. She's my friend, so she came today for your lecture.
All right, I can tell.
Yeah.
She's very seasonal on commercial.
Yes.
因为我只做 commercial， 就我基本都是处理 commercial， 我主要商场有100多个，然后其他的。
所以你是 CPM 吗？
其实我不是，但是我在做所有这些事情。
OK。
他没有牌，
但是
他比很多商业的店你可能都懂。你做很多是不是？
像麦当劳呀、CBO、RBC 全都是我的客人，所以我们做很多这种。但是我小的那些我也做，像电影院呐，很多小的 COCO 啊，因为我们那有100个商铺，所以很多零售都是我的一些客户。像刚刚那个女孩说的，她有一些想开什么 badminton 或者是 visual reality 的那些东西，是我们另外一个 office 也可以找到的，包括我们也有 kindergarten， 因为我们店很大，楼很多，所以大家如果有一些感兴趣的 client 都可以来找我。而且我刚刚看了一下，我们 office 的 rates 应该是零售的里面最低的一个，我们是20块钱 per square footage。
Retail。
我们的 office building， 我们 office building 就在多资处前面那栋楼，这栋楼就是我们的404旁边。对。
TMI 是吧？
我们的 TMI 10几块钱，所以应该是最
加一半大概也得35、36了。
对，因为那栋楼是比较新的楼，所以 TMI 相对而言会便宜。
旁边那个 self storage 是你们的吗？
旁边 self storage 有一点点是我们的，不完全是我们的，但旁边那一整栋都是我们 own 的。对，如果大家有一些机会的话，我很愿意，就是说我们可以 collaborate 一下。
好，谢谢。
有没有名片？
我今天没带，我今天来听讲课的。
你愿意的话，你可以让树把微信什么
可以
发到群里面。
可以。
大家随便加。
对，大家如果有这种客户需求，我们可以联系一下。好的。
好。OK， that's for the training。然后那个最后。这个我需要大家帮我一个忙，因为我在帮他助选嘛，所以我们录了一个小视频，我需要大家跟我一块儿，就是说一个，就是这样子啊，我们要把这很多人说的这个，它有一个口号的一个视频拼到一块儿，咱们人多这个口号是。
大家愿意吗？也许有的人有不同的
立场。所以我先说，
我们一起说还是
一起说？
好嘞，
我先说，愿意的话可以留下来跟我一块儿拍的小视频，我就说这句话：同心同力，共筑地产新未来。这是 support 他。不愿意的话没关系，就离开就可以了。
还有一些同事不愿意上镜。
随大家。
对。
随大家，我都说好吗？所以我说需要大家帮个忙。OK，training OK 了。那个，如果愿意的话，我们就在这儿，我就很快。不愿意的话可以离开，好不好？那个这个词儿是重新我打在屏幕上啊，然后大家那个需要离开的就可以走了。
You should call your person when you become a realtor. You should contact your friends, let them know you are agent.
No problem. Thank you for coming. Okay. 行了，借用大家半分钟啊。
这里客人要在一些 warehouse， 在 Starbucks market。
要站起来还是？
是这样子的，等大家听我说，等。那个，你们跟我一块录吗？你们要不一块录，你可以外边聊天啊。
来了。
所以我等他聊完。我要录东西。
啊，你录吧。
Yeah, you can do with us。我就相当于自拍一样，大家就反正就是人头密一点。
站起来吗？
站前面的不用站，后边这块坐下，然后后边就可以站起来了。这样子 ，OK。我看看啊，我需要竖着拍，所以我得把大家都带进来。
共租地产，
大家能看到这儿吗？
看不到啊。
同心同力。
看得字，可以看得到。
同心同力，我这样我说同心同力，这样齐一点。我说同心同力，大家一块说共筑地产新未来就可以了，好不好？我们先试一次啊。
看到我吗？
我躲开点。
人多一点。
我都在哪里？
站在核心的位置。咱们这样子，那个小柯往前来点，那块有空，不要有空。对，
可以吗？
可以，对，这样很好。都在了吗？
共筑地产新未来啊。
对，好的啊，准备啊。我先喊同心同力啊。
好。
然后最后咱们这样子。好。1、2、3。同心同力。
共筑地产新未来。
哎呀，谁先抢答了？你们重来，再来。都在吗？
都在。
我们说完了再伸手啊，好吧？
好。
同心同力，
共筑地产新未来。